Bible underneath my right hand. I made it out of tight jams. Guns all on my nightstand. My life should be on Vice land. My fingertips to hold the marijuana aroma. High school, I went to school high, still got my diploma. He got riddled and left alone for some Skittles in Arizona. The same time a man dies by his own for a pair of Jordan. It's crazy how we living. We all misguided children. Niggas out here getting got, trying to figure out how to get it. We the ones that's not afraid to let the hammers off. The same ones that feed the homeless with the cameras off. The life I'm living kinda hard to get a handle on. But I'm blessed and God knows I can't be mad at all.
I met Arlon a few years ago. This guy is a dancer, musician, rapper, singer. I mean, all around musical genius. He's worked with some of the most professional people in the industry, and we've gotten a chance to work on a few projects together. So once we started Uncreative Radio, I knew I needed to get this guy in the seat. What's up, Uncreative Radio? I'm with my man, Arlon. Dude, thank you for coming in, man.
No, thank you,
No,
bro.
we have been here. We've known each other for a real long time, working on some projects. But you've really kind of, I don't even know, what would you describe yourself as? I describe you as an artist. When I tell people, hey, you're coming on the show, I'm like, he's an artist, because you do a few things really well.
Thank you.
What would you, like you got the R&B thing going.
Right.
And you've done that. And obviously, like, you know, and then the thing that surprised me was like, so much of the choreography and the dance. You do a lot of that.
I do it a lot.
Singing,
dancing, writing, engineering. I do some of everything. And like I said, you know, lately I've been spending a lot of time behind the scenes trying to really build and stay more of a student and keep learning and building, you know, my knowledge so that whenever I get in a room with anyone, I can be able to really, really manipulate the situation in a way where it's, you know, works out in my favor.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you get into things not knowing, because, you know, when I was, you know, doing it, I was really young. And at the time, you know, I wasn't really, you know, as seasoned, I must say. And so, you know, when you get in that space of, you know, always wanting to learn and grow and do more, you end up, you know, finding out how to do this and learning how to do that and doing this, because you aren't relying on too many resources to, you know, benefit you learning and growing. You're kind of in it, you know, just in the moment. So you end up picking up on skills and different things along your journey.
And then give me some names, because you work with some people. Like you work with some talent.
Cool and Dre, Timbaland, Maya, Genuine, Queen Latifah, Jordan Sparks. I've done a lot of things. Fat Joe. I've done a few things. I can't remember them all.
That's. I mean, you did that so young, and like, and usually when you do something really successful, which I feel like is a little bit challenging in the industry. If you do something great, it's like, that's my guy, I'm going to keep him here.
Right.
And then it's hard for you to really excel.
Right. And luckily, I was working with you know, those people, and I was around such mega talent who could easily just, you know, manipulate me and say, hey, we're going to keep you, we're going to tuck you. But they were like, you know, they were really, really, you know, thorough and really true and real about, you know, me becoming great, because they saw my greatness and my potential. And so they would bring me in rooms and just put me in situations that was like, you know, to me, it's like, oh, snap, I'm in a room with this person. But then as you get in the groove, you realize, wait, these people are trying to push me. They're trying to, you know, put me in a position to win. And, you know, during those times when I decided to separate myself from certain situations, they weren't, you know, it wasn't a negative, you know, release. It wasn't anything that was bad. But, you know, I grew up and I had to realize that I wanted more. And in order to do more, you have to, you know, make new decisions and you have to move a different way. And so, you know, I decided to detach myself from certain situations, not from a negative perspective, but to excel, because I was like, you know, my time is up here. You know?
And you can feel that as an artist.
And I felt that way, and I was just like, you know what, let me take advantage of, you know, this downtime to build, to create more, and to really do what I've always wanted to do, and that's everything.
And where are you at now? Like, you're releasing records. Tell everyone. Tell me about your music and what you're kind of making right now.
Well, right now I've just been releasing some R&B, you know, things here and there. But I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes work. working and producing and engineering and writing and for a lot of different artists such as Highly Supreme, my homegirl DJ D May, Gregory Goldwire.
Holly came through the studio.
Yeah, I know. She told me.
Holly came through the studio.
Posted, I saw it.
And it was dope. It was dope.
Yeah, she's super dope. I produced her whole mixtape that came out. And,
it was good. I was looking at. I saw you post something about her. And then I clicked on her stuff, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, this is real.
Yeah, and even with that stuff, like, she's been around. We've known each other for years.
Right.
And so, like, with her knowing my talent and what I can do, it's like I'm doing some of everything.
Yeah.
I'm choreographing videos.
Right.
I'm helping her, linking her with designers, saying, hey, choose this person to make this outfit.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So it gets so hands-on, and I feel like that art form is really lost. And, a lot of people like L.A. Reid and Babyface and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, those guys were really grooming talent. You know what I'm saying? Pharrell and Timbaland, those guys really groom the artists who come in the room with them.
Right.
It's not about just working with the best.
And it's not just about, like, the music, too. Like, it was beyond that. And that's what I feel like what you're doing, because your talents really go beyond that. Like, obviously the music is there and that's happening and there's a lot of respect there. And you're very, very, very talented.
Thanks.
But, like, then it's also, like, to put somebody else up, to go behind the scenes of, a Holly and put some other people and produce stuff like that, that's difficult.
Right.
And then when that's successful, I mean, that really attributes to, like, what you're really doing in the scene.
Right. And I look at it as, this is just me. When you're helping and assisting someone, that's what life's about, man.
Right.
The law of attraction.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I'm tackling a situation, I need help with things.
Yeah.
And in life, generally, if you do things a certain way, sometimes that thing come back to you. And so I like to help artists, and I understand because I've been in those shoes before where it's like I'm trying to put this project together, but I don't have this producer, I don't have this engineer, I don't have this choreographer, I don't have this photographer, I don't have this, I don't have that. And then you start getting discouraged, and then now this great idea goes to rest because you haven't had the resources or the proper setup to make it happen.
Absolutely.
And so I want to kind of bridge that gap and kind of be like that one-stop shop where I'm taking advantage of the people I know and the resources I know and having them involved to help them rise their, portfolio or whatever they're trying to build as a photographer or dancer or whatever to help this artist. Because when I'm working with a DJ D-May or a Holly Supreme or someone like that, everyone else involved is people who I know or we know or who I'm plugging in saying, okay, I know these dancers are dope. Let me plug them into this since we need dancers.
Do you feel like it's tough as an artist? Do you feel like it's tough to make money as an artist these days? Like,
hell yeah. When you're doing it independently, for sure, bro. Yeah. But, a lot of the times, we have to be mindful that this is a new era, a new game we're in. So if you're doing your shit the right way, you'll be able to, get booked at this local show and they may pay you a couple $100. Yeah. Or you may get, this crazy song that may go viral and you're getting crazy spins on the streaming platforms. And now you, instead of making $20, $30 a month, now you're making damn it $300 and $400 a month throughout the year.
Off a song you
did right in your room.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's it's night and day.
Yeah. What streaming platform is your favorite right now? You Tidal and it's Spotify.
You know what's crazy? I just really wish they can just make one.
Man,
like, it's just so.
Man,
it's too much because I love them all. It's something about each one that I like.
Right.
And then you have something like a Tidal where you have the Beyonce and Jay-Z and those guys, and it's like if you don't have that, you can't get it until such and such date. And it's like, come on.
And it's tough because what you want is for people to hear it.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So I just wish that it's all business, it's all a market, so But at the same time, you have to be mindful that the era we're in now is so peer-to-peer.
It really is.
Like, you have to,
It really is.
You're depriving yourself by, saying, oh, we're just going to put it here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let the whole world hear this shit.
And it's tough, too, because, and now people aren't buying music.
Nope.
People listen to music.
Yep.
Off whatever account.
It's convenient for us now.
Yeah,
it's not.
Man.
It's like a
weird.
Like a piece of bubble gum.
That's weird though, man. But at least you paid for the bubble. I mean, you're paying monthly for it now.
Right.
But it's different. You used to pay for music, and now people are just like $8 a month. Right. It's interesting for the artist as it comes back.
But now, honestly and truthfully, the reason why I kind of it's a bittersweet thing because honestly and truthfully, the people who are really playing it big and really reaching the stars with that stuff. You know, your Bruno Mars, your Beyonce, your Drakes. When you go see these people in concert, when you see their video, like everything is like, woo,
100%
through the roof.
Through the roof.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of those people, they're just scratching the surface.
Absolutely.
So that's why I say, you know, I tell a lot of the artists I work with, hey, I know you guys want to live in the studio, but sometimes start practicing in the mirror for the stage. Because if you're able to really sell your music and that person who you are in the song, live and in person, it'll be nothing to sell merchandise. It'll be nothing to sell those tour tickets. It'll be nothing to do those things.
And that's where it really comes in.
Right.
Who are you listening to these days? Like, who's on the phone?
When I'm listening now, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I listen to a lot of old shit.
You good?
The new stuff I listen to, you guys probably don't even know them.
Probably. Who do you got?
New or old?
Old. Give me
old. Oh man, I'm listening to a lot of Charlie Wilson, like the Gap Band.
Yeah.
Those guys are so wicked.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, Gap Band is so dope. I love the Earth, Wind and Fire stuff. I love the old Aretha Franklin stuff.
You have an old soul to you.
Yeah, you know, I'm always like, people confuse me. They think I'm like 34 or 35. I'm like, yeah, I'm still in my 20s. Stop. Like, but you know, I listen to a lot of that stuff, and I love the 90s stuff too. So I love the guy stuff.
That's the era,
I love
man.
the Janet Jackson. I love the Michael stuff. I love Prince. I love SOS Band. I love all that stuff. Midnight Star, Atlantic Star. All that stuff is dope, man, from those eras where, you know, what we're doing now, you know, all they're doing, a lot of the new artists, they're just replicating the shit that they were doing back then.
Is it hard to appreciate some of the trap music? Like, do you appreciate some of that stuff?
I appreciate some of it because I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of those guys, they're telling their story through that stuff. If you really listen,
that's true.
Some of those guys aren't playing.
Yeah,
you know, it's a real thing for some of those guys. They're really doing that stuff. They're really living those lyrics, but some of that stuff is all like plug and play, where it's like, you know, you had this good situation or you got this good song.
Right.
You know, a lot of those guys aren't as serious as, you know, an artist would be.
Right.
But, you know, I appreciate that stuff because it's really dope. Some of that stuff you bop your head to.
Absolutely.
Some of that stuff you're like, yo, let me add this to the library. This is kind of dope.
Absolutely.
You know, so, you know, I try not to be prejudiced with genres and stuff like that.
What's your writing process like right now? Like
my writing process, I'm not writing anything. I'm just going up to the microphone and just spazzing.
Get out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm spazzing. Like, it's to the point where now I'm so caught into the vibe and the feeling, I will go weeks without writing anything if I'm not in the studio at the mic.
You'll just, and that's it.
Yeah. I may jot down a few ideas here and there in the notes.
Yeah.
You know, but like I've gotten so consumed into like the actual process of like at the mic recording, doing, you know.
You're recording songs and then you're going to the mic, you're just kind of letting it out.
Yeah, I'm letting
out of that, you're crafting a song.
Right. So, you know, it may be some words here and a little mumbling here, and then it's like, wait, this mumbling part sounds good with this. You know, word here, so I can just put it together, and then you listen to it a few times and say, oh, I can say this, and then you clean it up and change the gibberish to something actually that makes sense. So that's kind of how I'm writing now. Like, I'm still kind of, you know, being meticulous and really like sitting down, you know, structuring and really being conscious of what I'm saying in the lyrics and stuff like that. I'm not just going off saying anything, but I am freestyling the moment, the melody, the energy, because a lot of the times when you control it so much, you know, it sounds crazy.
How do you how do you take all that, like, you're coming and you're making these records, like, how do you feel like when you know you got it? Like, you're like, okay.
When I know I got it is when I play it like 100 times. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, if after I finish, like, you know, laying down all of the parts where I'm like, okay, I'm done with this idea, it's kind of complete, then I listen. Then what I'll do is I'll put it into like iTunes, and I'll just play it over and over and over and over and over. And then after about that third or fourth listen,
you're like,
if I'm like closing my eyes, zoning out, like, most
there.
likely it's like, yeah, this is it.
You're
this
there.
Is dope.
What do you feel these days about how social media and music like come together? Like, you know,
I think it's pretty dope. You know, it's a new way for us to be heard.
Right.
It's a new way for us to, you know, express ourselves
to
creatively
release
as well.
It's harder to. I mean, you're like, you know, J. Cole standing outside, you know, of Rockefeller.
Right. You don't have to do that shit anymore. You know, that shit is dead. A lot of this shit is dead. Like, a lot of things that went on from, like, 2012 on back, you can just cancel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I'll say, you know, about 2014, 2015, like, we really started seeing the shift. You know, when everything with the streaming and, you know, that's when YouTube started really just, like, kicking up, you know. And, you know, a lot of the times, you know, I think it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. Because sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad, it can be a little toxic for some people.
Yeah, man.
That's why I try to, you know, monitor it in a way where I don't let it consume my damn day, because sometimes you get so caught up in it.
Yeah.
You know, but I actually suck these days, bro. I don't post this much. I suck. I've been so caught up working and just grinding.
I often find that the people that are working really hard and putting something out usually aren't posting.
Right.
Like when you're on set with people and they're posting so much, like you're not the one doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
You know, if you're
not in it.
If you're in the booth doing your thing, I'm the one filming you.
Right.
You're the one doing the thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I find that very. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel that deep.
Yeah. So I think Instagram has its ups and downs. But
right.
I think that it's interesting. I think we're getting into more of a culture of people that want to be creative and create in the moment, not necessarily like, oh, I'm about to do something, get the camera out.
Right. And I don't like calculated things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, me personally, that's why I appreciate, you know, the time we're in now, because now is like, it's not about who has the quality now. It's about who's the most creative now. Who's the dopest.
Yeah. Do you feel like technology is helping? People got home studios. People are doing it.
It's helping and hurting, because some people actually don't know about real grind.
Right.
Some people don't know about real, like, patience in the process.
Right.
And technology has kind of killed some of the patience you have to really be great at anything, whether you're behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, beside the scenes, whatever. Like, I feel like it's a lot of work and hours that go into this shit that a lot of people are getting handed a lot of this stuff. And it's a lot of, like, accolades and, you know, positions being thrown at people so loosely these days because of the technology. You're able to, you know, manipulate it in a way where it works in your favor, which is dope. You know, I don't knock a hustle.
Right, absolutely.
But I just feel like a lot of people aren't really putting in the grind and the work that, like, someone like you, bro, you've been grinding hard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, probably when I was still doing damn it homework where mom had to say, be to bed at 8.
Right.
You know, you probably was still grinding.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Not calling you old, bro.
No, yeah. But I know, I get it.
You feel me? But I'm just saying, like, you know, it's just really like
at
a time now, like, that's why I say it's really about who's the dopest, who's the most creative, because anyone can get their hands on the quality. Anyone can get some money, save up,
and get
these cameras and these setups and these things. But it's about who's going to present that shit a certain way. See, like, your presentation for what y'all doing, like, the average Joe can't pull this shit off like this on this level.
Exactly.
You feel me what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So that's what I'm trying to get at, where it's like a lot of people don't understand, you know, that patience,
the work ethic,
and the work ethic
to get there,
to get to having that strong team and it being a quality team with quality equipment, with quality content, with quality
all the way around,
and you've built that over time.
Yeah,
but
man,
it's not nothing that just happened overnight. A lot of these guys get that overnight shit, and it's like it's dope. You did something dope. But that shit ain't finna last for 10 years because you don't know what it takes to keep it.
And you've seen those artists that are just like, where are they? You know, you've seen that so many times. You know, interesting too. I saw you. We were doing this event, and then I saw you. We were at the Galleria Mall, and then you were doing this thing with these kids, and you have such a part of you that's giving back.
Right.
And you're doing. How did you get into that? Why are you doing that? Because when I saw that, I was like, I didn't even know this. Like, this is a side of him that I didn't even know. And you're giving these kids
the soft spot. Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, you're doing this stuff. They were doing this dance routine, and you choreographed the whole thing. And after it was over, they were all like so proud to see you tell them that they did a good job.
Yeah.
And what's that part of your life? Like, how are you giving back in that way?
Well, I actually have been dealing with and teaching kids for over 10 years now. Since I was a teenager. I've been teaching kids. I actually was in the Sun Sentinel newspaper for being the kids of character for one of those months for keeping kids off the street dancing.
Yeah, that's interesting, man.
As a 15-year-old.
Yeah, you're not, and because you're not doing it at these prestigious schools. You're in the hood.
Yep,
you're
right in the hood.
You're doing
And I mean, let's just keep it honest. Like, that's where the real talent is. I'm not even gonna front.
Yeah, don't even front. There's nothing even.
You know, like you don't have to pay to get them in a class. Like,
there's no debate.
They're coming out of the womb
like
talented as hell.
Right.
They just don't have the opportunity or the upbringing and the experiences they need to really take it through the roof.
And they don't have someone like you that's saying, "Hey, I've seen it. I've seen behind the curtain.
Right.
I've stood next to Timberland. I've seen this.
Right.
You got it. You have talent. I'm gonna help you."
And that's where it's at for me. That's what's on my mind, because when I was a little kid watching BET and watching all that stuff, I'm like, dang, how did they do that?
Yeah.
Dang, how did they get in that video? Dang, how did they, like I would listen to things like, damn, how did they get this bass to say? You know, as a kid, I was curious as hell.
Right.
Imagine if I had the access.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I feel.
learn at 8 and 9 years old when I was at that curious stage.
And that is what stops these young black kids. The difference is this access,
right?
Where you have these other privileged schools that have the access, they don't have the talent for it,
right?
And so it's real interesting to see that. Even for me though, that's what it took. When I was coming up, it was school, but it was mainly people, and that took me under their wing and said, "Hey, I'm going to help you. This after school thing or this." That's the stuff that made me want to feel like you can create and you can make something.
Yeah.
Those roles are so important, but they're few and far between. Name me the rappers that are doing that. You know what I mean? Name me the rappers that are in the game that are trying to come up, that are doing what you're doing.
None.
There's a part, right, who? And
there's some that they're doing some things in the hood. I can honestly say I've seen some things Snoop did, Kodak.
Yeah.
Like, it's a few guys doing some stuff.
But they're mostly guys that you have names like that. Like Chance is doing some dope stuff in Chicago.
Right. It's a few guys doing that stuff. But it's like, like me, I actually have a front row seat of watching the kids who's in the neighborhood, who goes to the school, then comes right back in the neighborhood.
Right.
Like I witnessed these kids. These kids are styling themselves.
Right.
They're doing their own hair and makeup.
Right.
They're making up their own choreography. They're making up songs.
Right.
They're doing all type of creative stuff.
Right.
But their parents don't have they're so disconnected from that. Something like that they see on TV is like, oh, there's no career in that. That's
don't
impossible.
Do that. You're wasting your time.
You need to go to school. You need to go, which is good. Go to school, do those things. But there's schools for these kids to get into to excel in that thing. And I have friends who, and I try to tell people all the time, like, I have friends who's on tour right now with Nicki Minaj and Taylor Swift and this person and that person doing these things, dancing, getting paid, bills paid, doing good,
and the difference is Kodak and Chance and all these people are doing this, working with a much different budget. You're doing this now, which is what I think is just so excellent. Like, and people, and I think, like, and when you inspire a child like that, they're not gonna forget shit like that.
Nope.
You know what I mean? They will not be able to forget that feeling. They won't forget what it felt like to nail that. And then
once you show them that, they're gonna always want it.
And then
that's gonna push them to be great.
Great, exactly. And then what's it like? You hear these people that are even 20s. They're just like, I don't really know what I want to do with my life. I'm doing this.
Right.
And when you do that with a kid at a young age, they like
that's the best time to do it.
To know what you want to do, to come out and be 9 years old and say, oh, I want to be a dancer.
Right.
That's power. That's
super duper.
Yeah, and
I'm working with kids that's like on that, bro.
That's crazy.
I'm working with kids that's like, that's all they want to do. I literally just came from one of the dance companies that I work with. I just left from there. One girl, she literally just injured her freaking knee and foot. She's still just 5 and 6 and on the side in the freaking chair.
Yeah.
So it's like the dedication, the passion that those kids have and the love they have for it. And then now with the Musical.ly and the TikTok and the Instagram and the social media stuff, they're able to, like, I didn't have that stuff. All I was able to do is watch whatever came on TV and whatever was the cool thing. It was just amongst, me and my peers and my family members. But if we had the phone and was able to, do it, like, these kids are able to be artists now. They're able to do these things now. That's why I'm like, I can't stand the fact that the actual school board systems don't look at art as
that's an issue, man.
People need to start. Isn't there stock for art?
It's just funny.
Art is so freaking high in market value, bro. They don't even freaking realize it.
It's priceless, and the fact that that is the first thing that's getting dropped when art is the thing that is gonna get rid of separation, bring people together, it's gonna change perspectives. That's crazy to me.
I went to a Mary J. Blige concert, bro, and it was at the American Airline Arena, packed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So many different people. I saw Japanese, I saw African, I saw Haitian, I saw Black, Spanish, Puerto Rican, white, black, you name it.
Yeah.
I saw so many different races, bro.
What else does that?
So when we're in there, we're literally in there. And the DJ was playing a song. We all sitting there talking, oh, yeah, you know, they were changing between the artists and the set. And then the DJ played Prince Kiss. Every freaking soul in that building, bro.
It just lit the fuck up.
Boom,
yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
hey, you know, and it's the universal language, music. You don't have to be from this place or that place or be this thing to love it, to know it, to be it.
And when it does that, there's nothing else that can unite a group of people in an arena like that.
Right. It's real. You can't like calculate that. That's not nothing that you can make. Like you can't.
Right.
When the song starts, you better dance.
Right. Exactly. You can't fabricate it.
Nope.
So then it's like, why the fuck are you taking that out of these schools? That is the thing that, like,
it's sad as hell, bro.
And I don't even understand that. I feel like people, privately and publicly need to figure that out, because that'll be the thing.
Trust me, bro. I'm going to be investing millions when I get to them.
Yeah.
I'm going to be investing millions into the arts in the communities that don't get that.
But that's the other thing that's the other thing that's missing, because like just the simple fact that like that is also what's keeping you. I'm involved in your dance thing. I'm involved in the arts. I'm not going to be involved in like getting caught up in the wrong shit.
Right.
So like it is more than just like, oh, well, this is a line item and it's cost this much money, we got to cut it. It's like, dude, like they're already coming from challenging situations. Right. And I think having more opportunities.
I deal with kids. I teach kids, Josh, some of those kids are homeless.
Right.
Some of these kids, their parents are on drugs.
Yeah.
Running the streets. Some of those kids are raising themselves, They have to walk home. They have to babysit in second and third grade. Why are you babysitting?
Right. That's not even.
This is what these kids are dealing with, but they're super talented.
Right.
They just don't get the chances.
Yeah.
Because they have so much adversity around them on the personal clock. So when it's time to really do something great, they have to focus on the personal clock.
Exactly. It's like
because the personal time is so jacked up. And so like I just wish, we had more systems in place to give these kids that hope they need. Yeah. That this is a temporary situation.
Man, where you're doing,
you know what I'm saying?
You're doing phenomenal work there, man. And then also tell people on Instagram where to find you. Tell people about the
music.
music.
Follow me on Instagram.
Get at it.
ARLONNN. That's 3 N's. Arlon on Instagram. Hopefully one day I can get in the Instagram office and they can take those 2 N's off. And,
there you go. Instagram, hook it up.
Come on, man. Stop
all right.
playing, bro.
I've got we're gonna do this thing called rapid fire.
Rapid fire, let's do it.
All right, I got a bunch of questions. You ask them as fast as possible.
Oh, shit, let's do it.
Okay, here we go. You ready?
Let's get it. I'm with it.
This is R&B focused.
R&B focused.
Here we go. TLC or Destiny's Child?
Woo! Why you gonna do me that? The only reason why I'll say TLC is because Destiny's Child was inspired by TLC.
Hell yeah. Hell yes.
They were a part of the blueprint of what they did.
Right? Yeah.
So.
Okay, you ready? Monica or Brandy?
Shit. The reason why I'll say Brandy is
I
because
love the explanation.
The reason why I'll say Brandy is because, like, growing up, I have a very deep tone and raspy tone.
Yeah.
And so, like, a lot of her songs, like,
felt
just
like that.
Singing along, like, I just felt like I could sing along to her songs
more.
And I, like, my mom used to play both.
Right.
But Brandy stuff had just a little.
Did you watch the show?
What show?
Moesha?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I growing up in the house with my mom and sister and stuff like that.
That's on. Okay, here we go.
Can't help it.
Whitney or Mariah?
Come on, stop playing. Whitney Houston, bro. What kind of question is that? Mariah, I think she's definitely, played a big role in it. But, like, when it comes to stuff like that, I'm going to always go for the inspiration.
Okay, who would you rather be, Bobby Brown or Chris Brown?
Come on, man. Bobby, bro. Stop playing. Bobby was the blueprint of what Chris is trying to do,
Finally, Boys to Men or All for One?
I'll say Boys to Men.
Yeah.
I'll say Boys to Men.
Okay. Bangers on both sides.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, man.
Boys to Men, they transcended.
They're doing fucking residency like right now in Vegas. Still doing those songs.
Right. And
Yeah.
still sounding great.
Still sounding excellent. That's crazy. That's where you want to be.
Right.
Well, man, everyone check out Arlon. Please follow him on Instagram. Check out his music. New music coming soon.
New music coming soon as hell. And while you're at it, too, everybody just please, 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 please keep your ears open. Keep your ears open.
Yeah.
Always be open to new stuff.
Love
we
it.
got to get out of,
Love it.
staying in the box. Let's
Love
listen to
it.
some new stuff, man. Let's expand our ears.
Open
bro.
your ears. I love that, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show,
Let's
man.
get it, bro.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, bub.
Uncreative. Let's get it.
Hey.